Welcome back, everybody who had to refresh. If anyone's out there yet, just started up the stream again. I'm going to be doing a first Climax run with Rosa tonight on Bayonetta 2. This is the Wii U version, digital download, and I normally do not play as Rosa, kind of like when I did for my second Climax run that just got approved today. Awesome. And so we're just gonna, it's kind of, we jokingly refer to it as the meme run on speedrun.com, just because she's just so ridiculously overpowered. I do have a timer. Unfortunately, with the Elgato software, you cannot see it on the screen. If anyone knows of a timing software that shows up on screen using Elgato software, please let me know. Because currently it's OBS, and OBS is always giving me headaches and problems. Pardon me. The last time I did a recorded run on OBS, there was like audio pops. I don't know what it is. It's a brand. I have a brand new computer, an AMD FX 8300 with 32 gigs of RAM. I have a 9600 GTX 4 gig overclock, so it's not a problem of RAM or a strong enough graphics card. But I do have a timer going on my side. I will count it down. No, I do not want to play in automatic mode, and I believe the timer starts automatically after I select this option. So I'm going to count it down, start the timer, and away we go. Alright, 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so that worked. Excellent. I'm actually going to submit this. If everything goes well, I'm going to submit it in for speedrun.com. I usually don't like to submit stream quality ones because I want to record usually offline like 30 megabits per second, something that gets like a higher quality, looks nicer, and put up on YouTube. I'm still going to throw this on YouTube just so there's a permanent solution. So if something happens to the Twitch link, or if it doesn't get highlighted for some weird reason and it disappears off the site, it's always on YouTube. I don't have to worry about it going anywhere. People can watch it later time to see strategies and so forth. So that's my kind of personal view on it. I am not doing the 3:45 rule for Bayonetta 2. I just don't like it. Since you have to play this anyway, I don't see why you shouldn't have a timer going to begin with. And the argument is that, well, it's an unskippable kind of cutscene. It's interactive, but you shouldn't have to play it. But there's actually timing inconsistencies. You can either, one, it can help you, the 3:45 rule. And to explain that real fast, what that is basically you start the game and you just let this play out entirely, and you come back to it when it's done. You just add 3 minutes and 45 seconds to your timer. The problem with this, however, is that with the timing inconsistencies, even on the digital version that I'm playing on the Wii U, you could either have a time anywhere from 3 minutes and 41 seconds to 3 minutes and 50 seconds. So the 3:45, if you're running slower, can save you some time, or it can actually hurt you by adding extra time onto your timer. Which is why I'm not really a fan of having that rule. First, I'd like to see it removed, just so it's more standard across the board. And if you're going to be starting a brand new play file, you're going to be seeing this anyway, you might as well do it.
Spent the first eternity quietly looking upon the earth.
I'll also be kind of commenting a little bit on what I normally do with my streaming activities. I kind of always give like a running commentary for whenever I try to play the game, pointing out some different skips here and there. This is just basically jump canceling. If you're not familiar with jump canceling or you need a Bayonetta 2, basically what it is you do a jump move and then you cancel it with a attack. So basically you're doing jump right into kick, and you can do it again, which is called jump canceling. It comes in handy a little bit later on, especially when you start getting hammer techniques. So you can do things like this, kind of a little funny, kind of little small hops. The hammer later on really comes important, which is why I'm really disappointed that the Switch version that just came out today does not run a lock 60. Wii U version of Bayonetta 2 runs anywhere from around about 44 to 60 frames per second. The Switch version still has drops of up to like 15 to 20 frames. So it runs smoother overall through the most course of the game, but you're still having massive problems with frame drops. And frame drops will lead to dropped input. So sometimes you may see a combo where I'm going through and all of a sudden my character just kind of stops. It's because the game dropped the input. I mentioned the hammer
And we took our first
doing
big
jump
step
cancels.
towards grand
Actually, that will
prosperity.
not come up in this run. Rosa does not have the ability to use any of the weapons except for her handguns, which are
Been
already
granted the
ridiculously
power of
overpowered.
creation.
So right now I'm at 3 minutes and 50 seconds right now, so like I said, there's that variance in load time, so it can really play havoc. If you're playing on the disc version, oh, I experimented with so many times to try to figure out the best way to speed things up for that version of the game because I played it for so long. And you can have the game, if it loads perfectly, 3 minutes and 45 seconds. If it's really bad, you're looking at 4 minutes and 5 seconds at the very worst. So if you can, play the digital version for this, hands down. Switch version, I was actually seeing a German streamer. I forgot what his name is. I apologize about that here. Pretty cool dude. But the switch time seems to be cut in half. Like, I watched him do chapter 5, and I timed his loading from the stream. And from what I could see, like, it basically he loaded the level in 10 seconds, and on the Wii U version, it loads up in 20 seconds. So you're looking at like a 10-second saving. So if that holds true for the rest of the game for loading speed, you're looking at probably a 3-minute save of just loading times that's going to save you on the Switch version versus the Wii U. Bane about complain about every single time I play this game is that even though you've set the like, okay, I don't need the controls tutorial, it still tells you what all the items are when you first get them. And I'm hoping for Bayonetta 3 they don't do that anymore. Like if you have like an option like to turn off what the information is for something like that in the menu, so you don't have to keep getting stopped. Like, okay, this is a green wreath that's going to replenish your health. This is a creation item. You get X amount of them, you can make more items, things of that nature. I just really hope that they kind of turn that off for Bayonetta 3 whenever that comes out. I'm guessing sometime in probably 2019. So Rosa points, like Halos don't really matter a whole lot. I mean, they're still really good, but it's not as important as it is when you're playing as Jean or Bayonetta, especially on second or third climax or higher. You really need those halos because you need to buy the Earrings of Ruin, which transforms you into the mech that I go into on this when I activate her Umbrella Climax. Instead of having the Wicked Weave come out, she basically turns into her mech armor, or has the mech armor summoned. And so she's already overpowered, she has that. Earrings of Ruin cost, basically they cost 500,000 halos, 500,000 halos, so that's what you're usually saving up for in the course of a normal Bayonetta 2 run. So you don't have to worry about that. So a lot of my money is going to be going into lollipops, I think it is, and what is it here, like moons and health, just basically to help add it up there. I actually have a lot of magic already, because first climax gives you a lot to begin with. The downside for playing as Rosa, even though she's like this humongous like powerhouse, is that she is what I call a glass cannon, where she's like really strong, but she basically just takes like a lot of damage. So you have to be really careful with her. Definitely make sure you hit all your dodges, because especially when they go up in the higher difficulties, like Infinite Climax, one hit kills her straight off. Excuse me. Third climax, I think it's 2 hits before you die, and second is around 3 to 4. So at the beginning of the game, the bad guys aren't really that bad. I mean, they're pretty low. The game scales up, like it goes up on a curve for enemies' difficulty and also their hit points for their damage. So the beginning guys die pretty quickly, but as you go through the game, you're just going to basically, run into stronger people needing it. Let's see. good. He able to punish. It's like, oh man, it's not going to give you the punish. So you're going to see most likely as a quick kill on this guy, which is usually pretty hard to do. It can happen with Bayonetta and Jean. I've actually gotten around second and third climax before, which is extremely rare. But you can actually kill this guy before you get to the top. Well, came close, but there we go. So now he's dead. So the game, when he dies, and a lot of things you'll find out when you start doing quick kills and manage to get them, is that the game will continue to go through its preset animations. It's like it's not expecting you to be done with that character at that time when it happens, so it's not sure what to do. It keeps going through its preset, which can be really frustrating later on. You start fighting other bosses and they're dead and they're still up and attacking you and they still they can still hurt you and they can still try to kill you, but they're dead. You can't hurt them. And I apologize for anything. Been drinking some soda. Been drinking wonderful product placement. 1893 Pepsi Original Cola. I like the ginger a lot. I usually try to have like one little kind of quote-unquote treat a day. I really need to kind of scale that back to probably about once every other day. I had weight loss surgery, so I've actually lost like 150 pounds, but because of my back problems, my weight's been going back up, so I've been walking more now that I'm able to do so. I'm on the pain pills, allow me to do that. And I need to start focusing more on my dieting and get back down. I need to lose another 20 pounds. So... Now, unfortunately, one of the things they don't tell you with weight loss surgery is that you may have weird side effects. For me, it's burping. So if I eat or drink something, I tend to burp, which is kind of embarrassing. You can see I'm doing like air triple punches and triple kicks. Ace Krana is actually one who pointed that out to me. He's like, actually, if you do... oh, come on, camera. I've been having that problem lately. If you scroll down, what is with my controller? The controller's acting really funky lately for the down inputs for the camera. I don't know what it is. If you look down here, basically you can get more frames per second versus if you're looking up and running everything slower. But back to what Ace Krana told me is that if you do basically triple punches and kicks in the air with Rosa, it does an insane amount of damage, and he was spot on. You'll see me actually trying to remember to use that a lot, especially on the bigger enemies that can take it. The smaller kind of grunt guys doesn't really matter a whole lot, but the bigger bosses and the bigger golems you fight, it really does shred them pretty quickly. So definitely hats off to him for cluing me in on that pointer. Yeah, see, I'm holding down, it keeps going down to the right. It's something with this controller. I don't know what it is, but I've kind of learned that the Wii U Pro controllers in the United States are absolute and total garbage. I am on my fourth one since I started speedrunning this game a little over a year ago. And, the people I talk to who are in Europe, Russia, and Asia, they're like, oh no, it's like, these controllers are really good, they've never broken on me. It's like, I've gone through so many of them. Like, this one's starting to break already. This is a new one out of the box, and I'm already having a problem with it. The camera, the down input not working right. Right there, that's a dropped input. Slam dunk. Got really lucky on those. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to turn around. I usually go back here anyway. I'm going to hit the shop. And I'm going to go get some techniques real fast. Oops, did not give me really quick. There we go. So usually what I get right off the bat is Crow. That allows me to fly, or I forget what they call it for Rosa, and bat with it. I'm just using the general Bayonetta terms. Alright. Let's see. Items. I'm going to get Red Hot Shot just right now. Techniques, Falcon Within they call it, and Hornet Within. Hornet Within is like a last second type of maneuver basically to help save you. And I'm gonna go up here, I'm gonna buy all those and back out. So what, like the bat within technique, basically, so if you get hit, if you activate your dodge, I think it's within 2 to 3 frames of getting hit, the animation, you'll explode into bats and reform, and it triggers witch time. So it's like a fail-safe where if in case you don't dodge in time, it's a backup. It's very useful to have. Crow within is something that's going to come in a little bit later for a shortcut, although I've kind of figured out how to jump past it not using it. Don't need to pick up weapons on this run because Rosa does not use them outside of her gun. Okay, stop doing that, please. There we go. That did not go anywhere near as smooth as it needed to. That's alright. I am not worried. I'm not one of those people who are obsessive over having to have a perfect run. I was back when I played this on disc because there's so many things that can screw you up. Just even going into like your menu on disc version. On digital, it takes like usually under half a second for that to pull up, but on disc, you're looking at sometimes it can take up to 15 seconds. That guy's really durable.
This is simply the benefit of
They're
training.
after you too, then. Have you been naughty? Keeping secrets from Mummy?
Nope. Nothing comes to mind, love. Sorry. But since this is your bloody mess, do you mind hurrying the fuck up and getting rid of this thing?
Now, that's no way to talk to a
Really
lady.
wish I could skip this.
No wonder your guardian angels are trying to give you a good
If you do New Game Plus, which nobody's run so
You've already
far
been
for,
following me,
or
so
submitted a
let's make a
run,
deal.
or asked to have
You
it on
save
the
me,
Discord,
I'll show you around
not the
the
Discord,
store.
speedrun.com,
Heading to the event, aren't we?
you can actually
That
skip
makes
through
two of
these
us.
cutscenes
And
once you've
it'll
seen them
take two
again.
of us, won't it, love?
Or me.
You see,
Basically, like a New Game Plus just basically boils down to having your Climax bracelets on and just running a game that way. It's kind of a, you know, it's just really fast and simple. It comes down to mostly like a numbers game at that point. I'm gonna go over here, I'm gonna grab this lollipop. Usually in a run I wouldn't do it, but it's just extra lollipops, might as well do it. Okay, there we go. I just didn't want to waste a whole lot of magic on this one because I have another boss coming up pretty quickly, but your guns actually tend to do a little bit more damage than your Umbran Climax. It's good to finish off the boss with the Umbran Climax when we get to the second stage of it. Second stage of the fight, I should say. Nice and quick. Tap, 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 tap. All right. So, one of the things, that people have been asking, and I really need to update my video. I'll probably be doing that tomorrow, installing the Adobe Premiere software again on my new computer so I can do some video editing, is skips in this game. Like, what skips can you do in this game? Like, is there any glitches or so? There's not really many that's useful. A lot of the fight skips that you'll have coming up, other than the one you just saw in the previous chapter where I skipped an arena where I jumped up a pillar, I should have explained that, comes in Chapter 8, which is what I call the entrance to hell levels. So there's not really a whole lot in the way there of that. So later. So the beginning of the game is just kind of like more of a just remember what fights are coming up where and who to get type situation.
This is simply the benefit
Also, if you
of
run and jump, you do move faster. In this game, you fall faster than you do running straight. So if you can jump, on the way down, you actually go faster than you normally would. So if you can, in Panther mode, train yourself to start jumping repeatedly.
Or a sage, for that matter, pull off something like that.
Come on, love.
Alright, so
You
the
think I'm
time
gonna
is
tell you
just
my
past
secrets and I don't
2:30,
even
so
know
we're at
whose side you're on?
2:33, actually
Alright.
2:35. There
Seems
we
like
go.
you control
20
the
minutes and
remembrance of
35
time.
minutes is what I meant to say.
That's a big deal here.
Dyslexia.
It seems...
I mean, no. I got nothing else to say, love.
The rem
Camera freak out. So far, so good. Now we have a golem fight coming up.
darkness is the absence.
I'm just going to shred him with the guns. This part's kind of tricky, like basically because you're running up a wall technically right now, and it looks flat. We're actually climbing upward, so you have like a little jump you need to make. If you hit too high, you'll go way up on the door, but you want to try to see if you can cut it down as close as you can to the bottom of the door. And I think like going out and either flipping or jumping through like Panther Run, that part actually slows you down like about a quarter second. So if you walk out, it seems to be slightly faster. That could just be my eyes from having played this too many times. One of these days I'm going to have to go through and actually sit down and time that part just to make sure. So right now we're sitting at 23 minutes and 10 seconds. There we go. This one, if you don't mess it up, is a pretty good way to get halos pretty early. In a normal Bayonetta run, right after this level is where you'd be getting the Star Mercenary outfit, aka Star Fox, which does speed up your game considerably because you do extra damage with your shots. It basically doubles it up, so your punches, instead of having one shot at the end, it becomes 2. Your kicks, instead of 2, become 4. And your guns do have the most damage per second in this game, so it is the best weapon to have. Wow, that guy's really giving a bad pattern trying to hit with the tail. So if you get like a perfect platinum here, you can get on the stage like about a good 50,000 halos. And the Star Mercenary outfit costs 100,000 halos to get. So usually right after this level is where you're able to get it and put it on, which does speed up the game quite a lot. When I first started timing, I did an experiment of getting the costume versus not getting the costume, and it was like probably about 5 minutes saved over the course of the entire run. Of course, Rosa, she doesn't have the ability to use any other weapons or change her costume, so we don't have to worry about that whatsoever. Hit the buttons, do the thing! Be the hero! Alright. This part, the buildings, they always come out sticking through this, whatever it is we're in right now, a tornado of water. Basically, the houses are always the same, but their location and speed vary differently. It's RNG at this point. As like the famously point out every single time, about 3 times I've played through this game, I've had a building spawn completely across the bottom and be unable to dodge it. You can't flip all the way through them. So, like, no matter what you do, you're gonna get hit, which is, like, extremely, extremely rare. Of course it's not Bayonetta 5. It's Bayonetta 2. What's up, Fico? Playing with Rosa, doing a first Climax run, aka, as it's called in the Discord, the meme run, just because she's so ridiculously overpowered. Yeah, meme runs are the best runs. The memeiest, the dankest of the memeiest runs. I'm chilling. Got a brand new record approved for Bayonetta 2 for Speedrun. It's basically using this character in second Climax. Got that approved today, so it's technically a new world record, but it's kind of like a joke. So, but see how the Switch came out today? Yeah, the Switch version. It's not going to stay for long. I mean, almost like the runs are pretty much segregated out by systems, so it's not going to be that much of a big deal. I mean, I can basically say, like, yeah, I still have the Wii U version world records, but it's like my records are going to fall. Just the way it is, because the Switch version of this game loads, basically, it cuts load times in half. Like, I was watching a German streamer last night, and I timed him loading up Chapter 5 and his loaded in about 10.5 seconds. Loaded up on my Wii U, it's 20 seconds, so you're looking at close to 10 seconds. So if that holds true across the board for all the levels, just playing on the Switch alone saves you 3 minutes off your run, period. For me, so it's like an instant time save. Yep, there is also an improved frame rate as well, but unfortunately you still have drops. It's not like it locked 60 frames what we were hoping for. It still dips down to like 44, 45, but it's more up towards the closer 60 for the majority of the game. So it is better in that aspect, so that way you have less frame drops overall. Alright, let's see. Okay, that's good. I can worry about that. Yeah, let's do health. More magic. Oops, menuing fail. There we go. So yeah, so technically the Switch version is better. Actually, what I've been dying to do, and I'm not able to do it right now, was stream the emulator version of Bayonetta 2, because that does run extremely close to a full lock 60. There are still some graphical problems with it here and there, but for whatever reason, my CMU just starts crashing. Like after 30 to 60 seconds, the game just, it doesn't matter what game you play, the emulator crashes. And I've tried like going all the way back down to like version 1.9.1 and it still tanks on me. So that's the skip where you don't have to fly across, you can just jump on it just right and get right past that boundary. It's razor close though. But unfortunately, I don't know what it is, but my emulator starts crashing. I actually contacted the guy through his Discord and does BSOD Gaming on YouTube. He's got some excellent videos on how to set up your CMU emulator to get it running, and he's like, it's kind of like the mastermind for it. And he was even trying to help get mine fixed, and it's still not working. So I'm hoping that there's another version of it pretty soon that fixes it up. Gosh, this guy's walking everything. Stop it. So I really wanted to stream it just to show it off, because you have the better textures and the more consistent frame rate, and it's a lot of fun. And I actually got halfway through the game before I had to stop, and it just crashes out. Well, that's the thing, is that it ran perfectly for so long, and it ran multiple games, but now it's just like, it's not doing anything. It's not running anything. I put in like Zelda, and that crashes. Start up Yoshi's Woolly World, where are you going? And it crashes for that. I mean, it's just like everything across the board has become unstable. So I uninstalled it, reinstalled it again, still keeps crashing. Uninstalled, reinstalled my graphics driver, keeps crashing. Went down to the previous version, still crashes. Messed with the cores that you have. You can do up to like 4 cores on it there. I went all the way down to 1 single core, which should run the game slower. Still crashes. It's like, what is happening? So I don't know what it is, but it just suddenly became very unstable on my system, which has me really disappointed. So that's another thing I'll be trying to fix during the weekend, other than installing my editing software back on this computer, because I have my new computer now, and finishing up and making a better skips video for Bayonetta 2, because I did accidentally leave out some stuff in my first video. I could dodge on time. Got off a hit. Boo. I mean, CMU like is really hard on a PC. I mean, it takes up a ridiculous amount of processing speed and GPU power, but it's like I can run it now. I mean, I have an 8-core computer. It's a 3.3 gigahertz on the cores, but they're automatically set to overclock to 4.2, which I've seen them do. Then I have my NVIDIA GTX 960 4GB overclock, which is still pretty well. So that handles it as, you know, so it's not an issue of the computing power. And I just don't know what suddenly caused it, because it worked for like 2 weeks and then just crapped out. But it doesn't matter, because anyway, like if I just wanted to show it off, because emulators are banned from submitting for runs for Speedrun.com anyway for this game. So it wouldn't be like, well, I'm going to do this run because I don't have a Switch and submit it that way. It would never get accepted. Excuse me. All right. Oh, okay, my phone stopped charging. All of a sudden it lit up. I was like, what is going on? Did somebody just, like, you know, send me a message or something? It's like, nope. Come on, catch up. There we go. Now we say, like, delete everything and reinstall. Are you talking about the emulator itself? Or are you talking about, like, my PC? So I'm just getting everything put back in. I don't want to reinstall my OS on a computer I've had for a little over, close to maybe about 2 weeks now. I mean, other than like the Wii U emulator just not working right all of a sudden, everything else works great on my computer. No problems that way.
This is it! The bridge to the heavens should be right above us.
Emulators, add-ons, ROMs.
Not really.
Whenever crashes happen with me, nothing else works, just delete and reinstall it. Yeah, because I've done that already.
Call it a woman's intuition.
Because I even reached out to the guy who does BSOD gaming on YouTube. So definitely check him out, because he's got some really cool stuff, great videos on how to even set it up and get it going. If you have like a lower end PC, even tells you like how to set it up for lower end PCs to get the best performance out of games like Zelda Breath of the Wild. So I said, I mentioned what was happening in the Discord, and he actually personally responded back. So I was like, oh, that's cool.
I don't even know why I'm so damn sure I need to go to that mountain.
Even he's like, well, I don't know, man. I even made like a video. I have like 2 videos on my YouTube channel I put up this morning about the problems I'm having with the emulator.
It's not like that.
If that's all you know, that's all the sense you need. Just believe. That's what I did.
Bayonetta. Let's do it.
Sometimes you can get in front of them and it'll actually push you faster. Alright, here we go. This is gonna stink. This is usually pretty bad. With Bayonetta, this fight's not a problem. But with Rosa here, you tend to have people go flying everywhere. You want to keep them tightly contained. They are just taking their sweet time spawning in. And earlier they're all supposed to spawn in all at once, and they're like going one at a time. They're like, nope, burn through all your magic, please.
The absence of life.
Shit! All the luck.
Nothing's working! I've done one thing only! It's like, how do you know nothing's working? You literally tried it one time, kid.
That was easy. This is simply the benefit of training.
If I can just do something about that.
So for this next guy that's coming up, basically it's a boss fight level, you actually don't want to go into your unbound climax, which uses the mech, because you keep knocking him out the wall if you do. And that takes even longer for him to respawn and come back inside, so it slows you down. So you have to remember not to use your unbound climax fight until you get to the second part of the battle, which is underwater. Then you can summon it and go crazy. Rosa is actually another character. She's technically Bayonetta's mother from the past, you meet later on in the game. And she is ridiculously overpowered. She does not have the ability to use any other costumes or any other weapons, but she's super strong. And we're talking like double damage. Her unbound climaxes, instead of having the wicked weaves come out, are basically just... it's just that tank you see that she rides. The downside to her, however, is that while she's stupidly overpowered, is that she does take a lot of damage. So you have to be really careful. Even like on first climax I'm playing, you can still take like one hit, probably gonna drop maybe about a fourth of my life bar, just about. There we go. Now I can use unbound climax mode. Oh, dead. DED. Right, this is usually... This is what we call the meme run, like I said earlier. It's just like it's a joke run. She's just so ridiculously overpowered. So you can use her legitimately for other runs, but it's just harder to do. Pardon me. The new record I got was for second climax, which I expect to be beaten on that anyway. Playing as Rosa, which is like the 1 hour and 47 minutes versus the usual 2 hours and 11 minutes for Bayo. So if you go up to like third climax, you're looking at like 2 to 3 hits maybe before you die, and infinite climax, 1 hit is an instant kill before bad guys hit you. So it's risk and reward. You basically need to make sure that you're really good before you try to kind of seriously attempt that doing the runs on the higher difficulty levels. This right here, the jump, triple punches, and triple kicks are the best ones to do. Ace Krana was the one who clued me into that. He's on our Discord. Actually, I think he's also the I think he has the world record right now for Bayonetta 1 speedruns too, so... Dude definitely knows his stuff. Alright, another boss fight. Hit Dark Souls climax, just about. It is the Dark Souls of Bayonetta, I guess you could say, if you want to go with other overused memes. missile spam. I haven't really figured out like a good way to like get around these things, because it's nice that you get magic power, but you're also slowing down time, which means you're adding more time to your counter. Just swing for the mouth, because no matter what happens, you're going to get eaten. Just get there as fast as you can. Trigger this to get it done with, continue your fight. Now, if you ever see the option to punish this boss, you have to do it. It's not like, you know, it's not optional, because the game refuses to take damage until you do. So you can just sit there and wail on the eye all you want, it's not going to do anything. So unless you do the punish, so it's really unfortunate if that happens, but it can happen to you. Where, like right now, the enemy's dead, waiting for him to realize it. But you know, it takes extra time, but hopefully it doesn't happen. I've only seen it happen during my runs, maybe about 4 or 5 times per. So the TV is not picking up through the microphone, is it? Is the microphone loud enough, or is it need to be adjusted? Let me know since you're here, Fico. It's fine. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Reese, or Rise. I'm sorry. I am absolutely terrible with names. Add terrible with names along with horribly dyslexic, and you got an amazing combination. Alright, so here we go. Look like these guys. It's not the move I'm looking for. Maybe game music is a little too loud. Okay. Well, I can adjust that in a minute as soon as I get down with the level here.
This is simply the benefit of training.
The other thing too is like Rosa's like startup attacks, they do take a little bit longer to get going, so. There we go. Game is a bit loud and super duper loud. Okay, I'll change it down here in just a second. Yes, it is. It's Mama Bayo. Okay. We'll see how that goes. Oops, just a little time there. I was hoping to get that done beforehand. Yes, let me stop, take some snapshots there and other things there. But no. Basically what I'm doing here right now is I'm doing a first climax speedrun with Rosa, which is what we jokingly refer to as the meme run, because she's just so ridiculously overpowered. We just got first climax added into the speedruns.com categories list. So I figured, why not have some fun? Just do it for, for the heck of it. I expect this to be, beaten anyway. So I'm just kind of doing it for fun, just to submit it in. Usually I don't submit in my streams for my the runs for speedruns.com, But this one I'm going to export to YouTube and then submit it in for approval. So this is where you finally get to do some skips in the game, which is the best part. So I'm going to make sure, hopefully I don't screw this up. We're going to do our first fight skip. Or second of the game, but first of this level. I think I may be a little too low. We'll see. Nope, just right. So that's one fight skipped.
Nothing can contain me.
Well, for me, finding stuff is just kind of like looking at it. You really have to have like an inquisitive mind, like think of something like, okay, how can I fix this problem? It's basically all troubleshooting is what it is. You see a problem, you think like, how do I get around it? How do I break that? And after a while, especially when you start speedrunning, you know, it's kind of like the same thing you do, like, Fico, I'm sure, when you started doing Street Fighter, Ultra Street Fighter 4, you know? Figuring out, okay, what works, what's the fastest way to beat people, like, is there any patterns I can pick up on to expose or abuse the, you know, the computer AI? It's things of that nature. It's the same type of troubleshooting and problem-solving skills. So for me, what I was looking for is like, okay, is there... You know, you get trapped in this arena fight, like, why? Like, is there a way around it? You know, how far do you go before you trigger it, or is there any walls that are stopping me from going around it? And then trying to figure out a way across. Like, that first skip I just did, like the one where I did the skip and flew across, there's actually a way you can go and fly up to the top of this platform and not have to run around, but the problem is that when somebody had figured that out doing what's called the witch twist, I think it's called, it's actually like 5 seconds slower. It's an inventive way to think about it, trying to use a move to keep jump canceling and get across here, but it ended up being slower. So that's where just kind of timing experimentation pays off. I do apologize, this is kind of a busy level, so I won't have much time to read chat for this one. Except for right about right here. Here we go. And like glitches and clips like that are really interesting too. I'm actually going to be doing something different here. There's another way to get around this. Usually I run up and to the right. Actually, I'm still going to do it anyway, because it is a lollipop. Like, this is an arena fight, but if you go over this way, you don't trigger it. You don't hit the boundary for it, so you're fine. So that's like another skip right there. Normally you'd fly across and get the hammer piece, but Rosa does not use weapons other than her guns, so it's pointless.
Try to keep up.
Yeah, exactly. Those crazy ones like, oh, if you hit this block 37 times and swamp gas is reflecting off of Jupiter, you'll find the skip. It's like, okay, how did you know that part, you know? That's where it gets really crazy. That stuff is impressive to find, but I mean, it's just, for me, the things that I found in this game are just repetition playing and just kind of thinking like, okay, how can I do this faster still? Or, okay, I've seen somebody do this before, is there a way to improve upon it? And this game, I really like. This is actually, I'm pretty much a one-trick pony when it comes to speedrunning. Not pretty much, am. This is the only game I currently speedrun. I was learning Ninja Gaiden Black for a while, then I had my back problems kick up, and then I was going to go back to it, and then interest started coming up in Bayonetta 2 because of the Switch versions, so I just can't seem to escape this game. So this is the only speed game I pretty much run, so it's just all how many times you play it and getting familiar with it. And I like this game, and I recommend it for people to like speedrun if you're curious about it, because there's no crazy glitches you have to pull off. It's mostly just memorization. What fights to skip and when. You know, when should you use your unburned climax, or when should you save it for another fight that's coming up. So it's not really like super technical heavy on like you have to hit these crazy glitches and all these crazy controller moves. It's more of a memorization type deal. And it is a good game. That too, so Bayonetta 3 play as the bosses, that'd be cool. Depending on who the bosses are, of course. Most of the bosses here in these games tend to be rather large, which would still be comical. Maybe on the emulator version, somebody will figure out how to access those files, so you can actually play as a golem running through the game somehow. So is the game volume better now? I turned it down by about 5 levels. Because Elgato goes from 0 to 100, so I turned it down to from like 69 to 64. Alright, so this is another skip as well. This is what I call the butt clincher.
Slow down, will ya? Hey, wait!
There we go. Skips that fight. That was another arena lock-in fight.
Try to keep up. Hey, wait!
I hate these flame horse guys. I have no idea what they're called. I think they're called allegiance, I think Ace told me. I really, despite having played this game literally hundreds of times, probably 600 to 700 hours worth of time, I still don't know what bad guys are called in this game. I just make up my own stuff. Okay, audio is perfect. Thank you very much. Awesome. Said I always say it every stream, but I always try to have the best audio and visual that I can with my current setup. Whoa, that could have been bad. This is a minor save right here, just jumping up the waterfall versus running around. You're not locked into a fight there, but it saves like about 1 to 2 seconds. Waiting for the game to realize it's dead. There we go. Yeah, exactly. Boo this man! And that was a funny thing too. I was watching a streamer play the Switch version of this last night. And he was going through the entire story mode, watching all the cinematics, and I'm like, I've forgotten entirely what most of the story is like. I have like the major plot points, but everything else, like, I don't know anymore because I haven't played this game quote unquote normally for like over a year now. So you skip all the story stuff into it. I was like, wow, okay, because like at one point Luca gives his speech about, you know, the war that went on and the creation of the world, and it's everything that plays like in the introduction level of this game. It's like, oh, so that's where that speech comes from. You know, it's like, you know, the finer plot points of the characters and everything that's going on, I've just forgotten about because I don't get to see it. That should do do them. Yep.
Simply a matter of time.
Yep, that's actually from Bayonetta 1. She actually does that on one of the... It's the same type of boss structure there. It's got like the golem, like the circular round orb, whatever it's called. And you actually finish it off that way, except for when it goes to do the spike, it drops the ball and misses it. And then all the hands go down and just punch it repeatedly on the ground. So this game calls back to it with that part, but you actually complete the whole thing. This time you actually spike the ball and it hits the gate to hell. This level, I am not a fan of because it's just nothing but non-stop boss rush. I am not a fan at all of this. This is just like constant... This is what I call mini bosses the level. This is just constant mini bosses from start to finish. And then you have Alundra, who I call the Rose Woman. She's a pain in the butt to fight. You have her. She's a run killer. She can end your run real fast. Then you have Peacock Balder. And if you've never seen this game before, you'll understand why I call him Peacock Balder when I get to it, because he's got peacock feathers. He's another one that can straight off troll you and end your run too. I mean, it's not unusual to have your run end at that point, just because of what's going on. You have a red hot shot, but you can still have the game just totally screw you out of it.
Nothing can contain me.
There's actually not any skips for bosses so far that I've been able to find, but keep in mind that this community is extremely small. I mean, when I started speedrunning this game, nobody was running it at all anymore. So I kind of had to figure out a lot of stuff on my own. I saw like one of General Beatrix's videos before he disappeared. For unknown reasons, I do not know why. I don't really press into it, because it's none of my business. But I saw like one of his videos that kind of gave me the idea, like, hey, maybe I can speedrun Bayonetta 2 as a game. So did that and kind of got some ideas, and then kind of formulated my strategy from that point. So like a lot of skips and stuff have just been ones that I've been kind of able to find throughout, and I'm hoping, since people are really excited for the Switch version, and there's been a lot of interest on the Discord about actually running the game, that maybe people will find stuff, you know, find some skips and things like that. That'd be awesome. It's kind of like Mickey Mania for Super Nintendo. You know, everyone pretty much figured that that game was done, everyone found everything that was there for it, and then Oldsblack comes around, this Austrian runner, and he finds like skips everywhere left and right in the game. You know, opens what was considered a closed category just way open, just blows the game completely wide open for everything and crushes world records. You know, you just never know what a new set of eyes can bring to the table. So maybe someone starts speedrunning this game, maybe they find some cool skips to it. You know, some other fight skips or faster ways to beat bosses, that I'm all for it. That would be awesome. You know, it's kind of disappointing to have your records be beaten, but if it means that people are playing the game and finding new ways to do it, then I'm all for it, you know? Please die. I do not like you. Yeah, so bosses, if you're able to skip bosses entirely, that would be amazing. The Earrings of Ruin strategy, however, that I'm currently using with Rosa, because she just has it as her default, was a major game changer, because bosses that took anywhere from like 2 to 3 minutes to fight are now reduced down to like 15 seconds or less. Especially the end of the game. The end of the game got sped up so fast with the Earrings of Ruin strategy. Yeah, exactly. It's like competition keeps things interesting and going, you know?
Guys, so let's have some fun.
And that's why I'm really kind of vocal on the Discord, going like, people are like, oh, I'm thinking about running. It's like, do it. You know, just don't say you're going to do it, just actually do it. Do a run, doesn't matter if it's like 3 hours or so, you're going to improve, you're going to get better. You don't have to have a perfect time. I've actually talked to some people who are like, well, I can't beat your record. It's like, don't worry about beating my record, don't worry about beating anyone else's record. Just play the game, you'll get better as you go. You know, don't freak out about it. You're not going to have perfect runs right off the bat. When I first started running this game, I think my first speedrun I submitted for this site for second climax was like 3 hours and 4 minutes. And now I have it down to 2 hours and 11 minutes with Bayonetta. You know, it's like you're gonna improve as you go along. You just get the muscle memory, you figure things out. Like when I figured out that the guns are the best weapons in the entire game, you know, that was just found out from repeated playing. Okay, and you can do more damage if you were to hold down the gunshots, like your attack buttons when you go into punch and kick and attack. It's just things you find out by playing and experimenting with. Go end of the level. You can't skip this. I don't know why. You're forced to watch it.
Jean.
All right, let's see here. When I start running Street Fighter 4, world record holder told me it was done forever. Yeah, after he was done with that forever, went back, beat his time, went back and forth 4 times new world records. Exactly. You know, exactly, Fico. It's like you can think you're done. I was getting ready to move on from this game before the Switch versions were announced. And, you know, who knows, somebody could find something new and come along. But yeah, was it Alton or Rise? I'll just call you, was it Reese or Rise? Like I said, I'm terrible with names, I apologize. I'm getting it completely wrong. The pistols, your default guns, are the best weapon to use for a speedrun situation. They're not the most fun, they're rather boring. But you do more damage per second with your guns than you do anything else. If you hold down your punch, like I'll show you here in a second, like if normal punch, now I'm going right to this shop, it's not going to let me do it. Normal punch, you have your punch come out, but if you hold it down, you do your punch and a gunshot. With Bayonetta, it's multiple gunshots that come out, same thing for Jean. So what that translates into is that, especially when you start using the Star Mercenary, aka Star Fox outfit, you start using that strategy, and let's see, let's go for full out. Yeah, there we go. So basically it doubles up your shots, so you're already doing a ton of damage, and then you're just adding in extra gunshots on top of it. So like 1 shot becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, and over the course of the run you just start shredding up enemies as you keep going through. So yeah, the pistols, it's definitely been confirmed, because I went through and part of my experimenting with this game to figure out what weapons are the best. Like right here, it's a normal punch. If you punch and hold, it's, you know, you do that way. You know, punch and hold, then kick. I stopped screwing it up. Like instead of like 2 shots with the Star Fox costume, then you get like 4. So it really does a whole lot of damage. Like, I ain't messing with you. You die. Another thing here too, when you get this part, it tells you to like hit X, keep hitting X. As you can see, like it prompts on the screen, but I got a higher score. So you can get a lot more money that way. Like I said, if you're playing normally and you're trying to get the Earrings of Ruin strategy, you need all the money you can get. So keep hitting that X even after it's off the screen, like right now, get higher points. There we go. So next up is Peacock Balder. Boo. Bayonetta's best weapons are, if you're playing as Bayonetta, The ones for the speedruns that you need are your pistols, of course, your default guns that you have, and the swords. Not on your feet, but on your hands, because you have a 360 spin move you can do with it, and the hitbox for that is just absolutely ridiculous. It's broken, basically. You'll be hitting people like 20, 30 feet away from you just about in the game world, who are nowhere near your swords, and you'll just take them out that way. The Umbran Climax mode goes even further out. So you can do a ridiculous ton of damage for that boss, for anyone like that. So there's a couple situations where you'll be surrounded by bad guys, and those sword spins come in really handy to keep everybody locked down and contained. So the guns and your swords are good in that aspect. Swords are a lot of fun. I miss playing with them because they're so much fun, but they're very underpowered. They're very, very weak. The only other weapon I think that in the game that's less underpowered than the swords is the bow and arrow you get. That thing is super weak, yet I see a lot of people playing casually with it. I'm like, it's the weakest weapon in the game. They're like, oh, this fight takes forever. I'm like, use a different weapon. For a while I did experiment with the Chernobog, whatever the scythe is. I did that, experimented with that for a while. It's alright, but the guns, as soon as I kind of stumbled upon the gun damage there, that just kind of kept everything and went that way. I haven't really gone back to it. Like I said, I've gone through, started experimenting with, timing certain fights. I know I'd get the same results over and over with the different weapons, and guns just won it every time. And once again, I apologize if anyone's typing in chat right now. I'm a little bit busy. Gotta kind of keep my eyes on this for now. Really won't have time to take a look at the chat until probably Peacock Boulder's dead. I do not use the Wii Pad. I use a Pro Controller. The tablet pad does not get along well with my hands. I have really bad... see that? I got hit. The tip of your horn for this stupid animal has a hitbox. I don't know why they thought to do it that way. But yeah, so your tip of your horn has a hitbox, so you can get caught up on that last part as you saw. So there goes my perfect button for that. But I use a Wii U Pro Controller. The tablet controller is not comfortable for my hands at all. It actually causes swelling. It's not ergonomic at all. So here we go. I'm going to adjust some stuff really fast while I have the time. Alright, we're going to not use the Mega. We're going to equip this over here. And I don't have anything else. We're going to use one. Here we go, Peacock Boulder's dead. So I use Pro Controller. From what I've learned from people in Europe, Asia, and Russia, is that the Pro Controllers over there are great. People have had one for like 3-4 years, speedrun on the games are no problem. I'm on my 4th one here in the States. These things are total absolute garbage. They just break after. If I'm consistently speedrunning this game, like every other day, my controllers will last maybe 1-2 months if I'm lucky. And they don't make these anymore, and these are $50 each. So I've already paid Nintendo $200 just to buy a Pro Controller. So if that breaks, I'm probably all done with speedrunning this game because I can't play it anymore. And I have no idea how durable the ones for the Switch are. And those are $70, which is even more ridiculous. I am not a fan of the Switch. It's got a really terrible tiny controllers, terrible button placement. So you pretty much need to like get a pro controller pretty much to play the game just about.
Darkness is the absence of light.
And this is another bad guy I hate because right now he's dead. I gotta wait for him to come back, charge back, fly forward, try to stop me, keep trying to stop me, and he's still got active hitboxes that can hurt me. But I can't hurt him at all. Yes, the Super Nintendo ones can last forever. Hey! Part of Lorcon. What's up?
Simply the benefit of
See,
freedom.
exactly, like I said, you know, like everyone, it seems everywhere but the United States, your controllers will last forever. Mine's like, nope. Oh, that's not the one I wanted. Bad Rosa. This fight went absolutely not where I wanted it to go. And like I said, yours has lasted 2 years, and I know you said you've been playing a crazy long time on yours. And like, these ones here you buy in the United States, they break after 2 to 3, like about maybe, if I'm lucky, I get 2 months of time out of this for speedrunning this game. But because I have really bad arthritis, I really don't have much of a choice. You know, I pretty much have to go with the Pro Controller. And like I said, they do not make these anymore, so... Well, that's good. Yeah, I saw you were streaming a little earlier. Doing 100%. I'm doing what's jokingly called as the meme run, which is where you play as Rosa on first climax mode. And, yeah. So it's a total joke because you're just so completely overpowered. So, and we just got this time, like this category first climax added to Speedrun.com's you know, categories, so I figured, what the heck, I'm just going to go through, I'm going to stream it. I usually don't submit my streams for, like, the official times for Speedrun.com. I usually do an offline recording and put it in for YouTube, so that way it's higher quality. I'm just going to do it for right now, just to get something on the site, really. Alright, and this is coming up pretty soon is... I'm just going to stop and get this. We're going to have another skip here in just a second. It's a small little fight skip. Basically, it's like another arena locked-in style where you fight Grace and Glory. And you basically will skip it. Let's see if the game trolls me right here. Nope, it didn't. That's good. Yeah, see, the problem with, like, the Wii U Pro Controllers breaking is that it's like every single time you can identify how it starts to break down. First the X button goes, then you start having the dodge button go, your right trigger, and then it's usually your left stick after that. So this is the skip right here. Come on, game. Wouldn't let me jump up out of it. That was weird. But basically, you skip that little fight over here, which is like an arena lock-in. So that will save you probably about 20 seconds or so if you're not playing normally as Rosa. If you're playing as Bayonetta or so, you'll probably save about 30 seconds by skipping that. Go. Dropping frames, or... Well, I know the game was dropping frames there. It was chugging along. Is this, like, super choppy right now, or did it go back to being smooth? Because, remember, this game runs on a variable frame rate. The Switch version is closer to constant 60. It still has dips down to 44, 45, but Wii U is anywhere from 45 to 60 on average. Okay, so it's just the game itself that was dropping, so it's like back to normal? Okay, good. Just want to make sure, because usually the game doesn't chug too bad, but with all the flame effects and everything there, just even I noticed it was like, whoa, this is getting pretty rough. Co-op mode would be kind of cool, like through the entire game would be neat. Yeah, because more people are like, oh my gosh, this is great, this is going to have like, you know, Climax mode. I'm like, it has that already, you just have to play it online. Switch just gives you the ability to do it next to somebody sitting next to you, but being able to play through the entire game would be kind of cool with the co-op. It'd be completely, utterly busted, but it'd be neat. Tag mode, Tag Climax mode, I think it's called. And this level is another source of complaint for me, because it's the money-making level. This is where you can get a whole bunch of halos and stuff, but it's the end of the game, just about. I mean, you're getting pretty close to the end. Go. I'll spam this part just because it gives you more magic, which is good. We got another guy around the corner. Should get one full bar. Appears. Now this is kind of tricky. I want to knock both these guys back into the corner. Here we go. Hopefully the combo doesn't drop. It's going to probably drop. Yep. Nope. Oh, cool. It kept it going. Usually it drops the combo there, so you lose out a lot of money. It always ticks me off. If you're ever in need of cash when you're playing through this game, you can circle back and fight these guys, but keep in mind you're adding like 50 seconds to your time. So, what? I can't believe he hit me. Usually just go flying right past these guys and you never see them again. Okay, is anyone else having buffering, or...? Because I have my megabits per second set for 5.5, but I can have, like, I have a full upload speed of, like, 12, so I'm not even using half my upload speed. But Twitch has been having problems again lately with buffering and stuff. I've noticed on my other friends' streams where it's just gotten, like, dropped down to, like, it starts buffering like crazy. And it's not their internet, it's just Twitch being Twitch. Okay, so I guess it's probably just your internet, unfortunately, Alterize. So normally here, if you're looking for money, you just go through and you shoot everything like crazy. But, oops, did not want to trigger that. Stop. There we go. But if you're going through speedrun, just go through and do your punch, 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 and just shred them up. Okay, I do have red lollipop. I'll have to wait till the last second to trigger that. Okay, here we go. Red lollipops, the small ones last 10 seconds, the larger ones last 20. There we go. And dead. So right now I'm sitting at 1 hour, 24 minutes, and 40 seconds. Unfortunately, OBS does not like my microphones at all, so I am streaming through the Elgato software, and nobody has been able to find one. I've been Google searching, I've talked to other people. There's not a way, to my knowledge, to get a on-screen timer for Elgato. If anyone knows, let me know, whisper me a link, or put it here in chat and I can always retrieve it later. But I love the Elgato software because it does such a great job. You get good quality out of it, and I can use my microphone, it sounds good. But there's no on-screen timer, so, and I always, if I can when I'm doing a speedrun, I'd like to have that timer on the screen if all possible. These stupid airships are coming up right around here. I always hate them in the first Bayonetta game. They always kick my butt. And this game's like, they're so ridiculously weak and underpowered, you can take them down with like 4 or 5 gunshots. Like right that. It's like, those guys in the first game gave me so many problems. I don't know what it is, but it was like mental block. Could not figure out, could not beat those guys fast. There we go. All right. There we go. Wouldn't let me out of the Ember and Climax mode. There we go.
Nothing can contain me.
Okay, so I do have a red lollipop I can use for the fight that's coming up. If you get really lucky, like the second Climax run I did with Rosa, and I actually got a quick kill on, I think, what's his name, Loki? Or, like I said, I don't know the names of the people in these I make up my own stuff, so I think his name is Loki, like the evil version of the Luca, or no, Luca's the guy who comes around. Evil Loki, whatever his face is. This guy. You can get a quick kill on him sometimes, like if you get really fast. Yeah, it looks like I got it right there. So I think he's going to do is he's going to throw the rock at me. As soon as I bash it up, then it's going to cut to end. Because I know I got the quick kill on him. I managed to get that on for the second climax run I did run. The second climax run I did with Rosa. There we go. English. Yeah, so he's already dead, so it just makes you go through that. This game is kind of funny like that aspect. If you beat it too fast, it still has set programs it's got to run through. It makes you do it all. It can be done with Bayonetta. Actually, I managed to pull off a quick skip, quick fight on the final boss, which is kind of cool. And it's on my world record for second climax Bayonetta, which is like 2 hours and 2 hours 11 minutes. I just pulled that off. Got really lucky. It's one of those things I've never been able to do ever since. Okay.
Darkness is the absence of light.
And if you're skipping past this part, don't run forward, run to the side, it's faster. If you run straight forward, it's actually longer you have to go around. If you run to the left or the right, shortcut. Saves you like 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds, I think. Alright, I'm going to hit the shop for the last time. This level I am terrible at because I'm used to playing with Bayonetta and I have the Star Fox costume, which allows you to control the R-Wing, you shoot faster, and it's just a lot easier to do that level. So now I have to do it with Rosa, which is like Bayonetta almost, and I'm not used to how that controls at all. It does control completely different. Let's see, which heart? Let's go up for one more. Can I get even more magic? Huh, I can, cool. Okay, don't worry about that. Red Hot Shots, Mega Moon. Okay, and which heart? Let's go for her. There we go. So we're coming up to the end of the game. It's at 1 hour, 31 minutes, and 30 seconds. So this is probably going to look like a train wreck. Like I said, I'm not used to playing it with this character anymore. I'm used to doing it as Bayonetta, so it controls completely different. Like you can do the easier lock-on shot with the R-Wing. You have Balder's swords, which I'm not sure his range on that. Or this. You also have your bombs you can shoot out too, so that makes things a lot easier. It's like those guys, you can take them all out in one shot. Right now I'm just trying to not use a whole lot of magic because you're really going to need it for the final fights. Because the more magic you have to fight the final guy, the faster you can go with it, especially when you have more red lollipops, which I'll be stopping as soon as like I land. I get past this little part of the flying segment. I actually stop and do some item creation before I go fight the final guy, just to make sure I have enough yellow lollipops and red take them down, which I'm pretty sure I will. More than enough at this point. Be pretty much overkill. But overkill is the best kill. Yeah, the R-Wing is the best. I love that Easter egg in this game that they have that in here. I mean, too bad that the Star Fox game that Platinum did, the Star Fox Zero was a complete and total turd, but that has to do mostly with Miyamoto screwing things up and meddling where he shouldn't be meddling anymore. Well, like I said, I can go on rants for Nintendo about hours, and you guys have heard that before, so that's not surprising. But I think that was like one of the best Easter eggs that they put into a game, you know, is that R-Wing ability. Yeah. Oops. Like I said, not used to this. Actually doing slightly better than I thought I would, but not by much. Oh, come on! Why must I be bad at this? It's a good thing I got that extra health. Yeah, the R-Wing, you have those charged shots that work so great, so fast. You have the bombs you throw out, which have a really good area of attack. I know Baldur has his sword, but I don't really know how to use it. It's one of these things I'm going to have to sit down and experiment with again if I start doing, like, first Climax runs again seriously. So this is just kind of like just to get something on the leaderboard for Speedrun.com at this point. Just because it just finally got added in today after being requested for over 2 weeks. Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing about, like, Star Fox, like, you know, remake Star Fox 64. They've been remaking Star Fox 64 for the past 20 years now. It's like, make something new, but copy that style, and they just fail miserably. And Miyamoto was like, no, you have to use this touchscreen that nobody uses. You know, you have to use it. And that's what just sunk it all, because you have to look at your screen to see where you're aiming, but then you have to look at your TV to see where you're flying. It's like, did nobody, like, it's like Miyamoto, and like I said, I'll take off Nintendo fans by saying this, Miyamoto is the George Lucas of Nintendo. He had like a good idea once, he still has some good ideas there, but he fails to implement them there, and everyone was like absolutely afraid to like challenge him on stuff. You know, George Lucas was the same way, as like, no one had the gall to say, hey, this is a terrible idea, don't do it. And instead, like, Miyamoto was like, no, you have to do this instead, and nobody would stand up to him. Oh, once you beat the game, you know, it's retained on the system. So on a new file, you can play as her, but once you've beaten the game completely, you know, with a second or third climax, she's unlocked for everything through. So it's a brand new save file. You can play as Rosa. Alright, here we go. Take a second, do some creation. Stuck on loading. Wow, that's weird. Usually the digital version does not take that long to load up. Alright, let's go for the Mega. Wow, I really did not get many items for creation this time. Alright, that should be enough. Now to set this stuff, that, equip over here, Mega over, equip over here, and Lollipop up top. Let's do it. Yeah, it's weird, it's like I said, you have to look at the controller to aim, and then you have to look at the TV to fire, so you're constantly stuck in a battle between the two. Yeah, this used to be like a 2-minute fight, by the way, 2-3 minute fight, and now I think I can get done the entire thing in like 30 seconds or less. Even more with Rosa, because she's so ridiculously overpowered. Yeah, and it's like, okay, you can play with the pad, but you can only lock on with the tablet. It's like I said, once again, it's like, who thought of this brilliant idea? Nintendo is more focused on gimmicks. Like, it boggles my mind. Like I said, I can go on rants for Nintendo for days on end, but it just boggles my mind, like, their arrogance. This is another thing where he's dead and you're just gambling the button, waiting for the game to go, okay, you can do it now. There we go. It's basically, instead of like, they really hate their fans, they hate money. You know, like these Super Nintendo classics, it's like, I had to have a friend of mine use her connections to get me one, because they didn't restock them anywhere, they're so short order. And yet, if Nintendo had produced as many as people had wanted, they'd be making millions upon millions of dollars, and they don't want to do it because they don't like money. They don't like their fans. They think they know better than everybody. It's like they have this attitude of like, okay, we can do whatever we want, and our fans will still support us. And it's true. I mean, Switch cartridges could turn out to be poisonous and killing children. You know, killing toddlers and infants and poisoning them to death, and Nintendo fanboys would still go, well, I'm sure Nintendo has a reason behind it. You know, it's like, guys, no. Which is why I'm really not a fan. I understand why Bayonetta 2 is on the Wii U. I understand why it's on the Switch. And I understand why Bayonetta 3 is Nintendo Switch exclusive, because Nintendo put up the money to get this game made. Nobody else would back it. So I understand that, but I really did not want to buy Nintendo. I really don't want to support them for it. You know, and yet here I am. I bought a Wii U just to play this game on release day. I bought multiple controllers so I can continue to speedrun it. And now I'm going to have to buy a Switch in order to keep speedrunning this game and stay competitive. Unfortunately, I won't be able to buy one for probably about a year. And then eventually Bayonetta 3 is going to come out on it, so no matter what, they're going to get my money, but it's not like I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta get a Switch. It's like, gotta get a Switch. Alright, so right now we're at 1 hour, 40 minutes, 40 seconds. So at this point, it's probably about another 3 or 4 minutes to the end of the credits. So I'm thinking probably going to get a time around 1:44 probably. Thank you very much, Pico. So the timing for speedrunning this game starts when you pick your difficulty. First Climax is a little bit different, because you have the option to turn on the Immortal Marionette where the game plays for you. Never do that because it throws you off. But the timer starts when you pick your difficulty level. It ends when you kill the last bad guy on the airplane in the credits. That's when your timer stops. Because you still have direct input up to that point, bearing on gameplay. Two hits. I've never done it that fast. And unfortunately with the credits, I mean, it's on a timer, with the exception of the very last the last fight. That's the only real influence. You can stop things sooner. Like right now, I managed to kill Boulder in 2 hits, which is laughable. Because I had the red lollipop still active, carries through. But I mean, other than that, you're just pretty much going through the entire process, just waiting to get to that part. So we're at 1 hour, 42 minutes, and 20 seconds. Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be like a 1:44 time. Which is not too far off. My second climax was like 1 hour 47 minutes. So this is about 3 minutes faster. And I'm sure other people will be able to beat it faster. Like I know Ace Krana has been, he's the current world record holder for Bayonetta 1. I know he's been wanting to do a #1 time. I know he got like a 144, and he's playing on disc. The disc version, the digital version, you load faster than digital. Let's try it again. Digital version loads faster than disc. When I switched from disc to digital, I saved about 5-6 minutes off my time automatically just from the load time differences. So if Ace Crown is able to get like a 144 in this mode playing on disc, if he ever goes to digital, you're probably looking at like 139 to 140 time from him. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, because I think he's getting it for the Switch. Alright, here we go, kind of towards the end of the game. I'm going to move over so I can get closer to my timer, stop it faster. So it ended up being at 1:44:12. 1 hour, 44 minutes, 12 seconds. It's a new world record! Yay! It's laughable. But yeah, I'm gonna actually transfer this over to YouTube and submit it in. So I'll end up eventually on Speedrun.com. If anybody's interested in speedrunning this game, either 1 or 2, that is the link to the Discord channel, and a lot of information about running both games. So if you want, you can drop in there to see what's going on, hang out, it's up to you. A lot of resources, I'm in there always. And definitely check it out. And if you've never seen this video, that's a link to Super Butterbun. She does a review on Bayonetta 2, which I find absolutely hilarious. So if you haven't seen that before, definitely watch it. It's pretty funny. Congratulations. And this is why, actually that's not too far off. Is there another chat? Shouldn't be another chat. Could be. Like, let me know if you're, when you get back in, if you're not able to see that still. This is why we do like a real-time timer, because the in-game timer is completely off. I've seen it off sometimes up to 2 to 3 minutes, either minus or plus. Like for right now, this actually would have been a better time because I got a 1:44:12, and the game says I have a 1:43:37. Alright, so give me 1 second. I'm actually going to stop the stream right now, just that way it doesn't keep running on too long for YouTube, and I'm going to jump right back up here in a second.